Okay, welcome to our Thursday night shiur. Hope we have Siyata Shmai to maybe ma'ar ourselves to be a little bit better. I appreciate the Olam for giving me the opportunity to prepare the shiur, or at least have some sort of incentive to prepare a shiur, because I get to think about things that are meaningful to me and have an incentive to do that. The topic of this week's shiur, we mentioned it a little bit last week, is going to be the topic of Haganuz. Now, Haganuz, you can imagine, is a very hard topic to talk about because it's Ganuz. And so, if it was easy to talk about, it probably wouldn't be very Ganuz. So, by virtue of the fact that it is Ganuz, it's very much behester. So, anyone talking about it probably knows very little about what they're talking about because it's Ganuz. But we do know that the Haganuz is HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mavdil the Haganuz l'tzadikim l'asad lavai, and the usual pshat people think is l'asad lavai and olam haba, the Haganuz. But as far as Makadashim tell us, the Haganuz is something that tzadikim nowadays can actually come in contact with, can appreciate, and have some sort of effect from it. So I'm going to try to talk a little bit about Haganuz and try to be malbish Haganuz in very simple terms, and then maybe try to talk about a little more deeper terms. Haganuz, in the most simplest term in today's day and age, was I came home tonight from yeshiva, ended up coming home a little bit late because busy with something that was a difficult parsha in a young couple's life, and it's cold, it's freezing. It's the middle of the winter, it's Kufis Tevis Kemat, and a lot of Hester, a lot of Chayshach. And I walk into my house, and my kids had finished eating supper, and my three little boys are sitting and shining their menorahs for Hanukkah. And I was like, wow, Haganuz. You know, the menorah, the Hanukkah is Haganuz, and you have these little neshamas over here, right, just sitting there shining their menorahs, trying to get them perfect for Hanukkah. You know, this is a pnimistika histakus. You could see it's little kids having fun, but you see that the little neshamas shining the menorahs for Hanukkah. To me, this is a picture of Haganuz in a very chitzonistic way. But again, this is what Haganuz is. What the idea of Haganuz is. Haganuz is that you have a hester, and Haganuz is a ratzon hapnimi, lighting up this hester, the chayshach of galus, the chayshach of the winter, and any ratzon in our pnimi that's sitting and be mishtaikik for kedusha. This is tapping into Haganuz. I saw a story. The writer wrote it as if it was true. I'm not so sure it was, but it's a great story. Just to bring out the point, there was a guy. He was traveling in Russia through the small towns in Russia, and he made it a point to every small town that he went to, he would ask around to see if there's any. This goes back 30 years ago. Are there any Yidden around? Most of these towns were just Mali Goyim, and he would try to track down maybe Yidden bided him in these places. He goes to a town, asking around, anyone know any Yidden in this town? Small little town in the middle of who knows where. And after asking around for a while, finally someone tells him, yeah, there is one Jew in town. He lives. He points him in direction, Yashar, whatever, however they say in Russian. And he goes to the edge of town. He finds a shack. He knocks on the door. A guy opens the door, and he sees this Russian man sees a Yid standing there, and the guy jumps for joy. He gives him a hug and a kiss, and he starts telling him, "I'm so happy to see you. I cannot believe you're here." The guy, so this traveler says to him, like, "My hi, what are you so excited about?" "What do you mean, what am I so excited about? There's another Yid in this world?" He says, "What do you mean?" He says, I didn't know there's any more Yidden. I came back after World War II, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever it was, and I asked around where the Yidden are. They told me all the Yidden are dead. I said, the Yidden are dead? Oh, no. You know what I'm saying? Who is going to be Oved HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Who is going to hold up this world? The Yidden are Oved Hashem. They hold up the entire world. So I moved into this house, and I sit in this house. I have a vegetable garden in the back because I don't have any kosher meat. I grow my own vegetables. I sit here all day learning Mishnayos, saying Tehillim for the last 30 years. I thought I was the only Yid in the world holding up the Welt. I see there's another Yid. I'm so excited that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has another child in this world. So he told him, Rabbi Yid, the news is greater. I'm not the only other Yid in this world. There's thousands of Yidden, right? And he starts telling him about the Yid, and the guy cannot get over his mamash and Olam Haba. So, this to me, this picture, this Yid, he is the Or Haganuz of Golus. A Yid with a rotzen of appreciating that there's a Welt over here, Molly Hester. But I, one Yid, am HaKadosh Baruch Hu's representative in this world, and literally I can hold up this entire world. This is a midah of rotzen apnimi v'shishtaikikus that to me is the personification of our Haganuz. So try to tie our Haganuz into the Parsha, and tying it into Chanukah. Chanukah is a little easier, and tying it into the Parsha may be a little bit easier. Maybe possible. And the Sfarim actually connect Chanukah and Parashat Vayeshev, and there's all sorts of remuzim of the overlap between Chanukah and what was going on with Yosef and Yaakov and the Avodah of Chanukah. Maybe we'll just introduce the Vart in the beginning where we're headed, and then we'll try to bring it out maybe with some Remazim and maybe a little Hisayrus. Our Haganuz is, when there's a Hester in Klal Yisrael, our Haganuz is Mitoich Hester. That's the type of Ganuz. There's a Hester, and the R is Mamish Ganuz Mitoich the Hester. Thus, haste, any time Klal Yisrael is going to find themselves in a matziv of Hester, that situation of Hester is ripe to uncover our Haganuz, because it's Ganuz, and you're in Hester land. You're in Ganuz land. There's a famous memory from Menachem Breslev. I didn't see it inside, but it's a famous song, right? Hafilu b'hastara shebeseicha hastara sham gam sham vaday gam sham nimsa Hashem Yisbarach, right? Afilu b'hastara shebeseicha hastara vaday gam sham nimsa Hashem Yisbarach, right? That's a tremendous hisayrus to a lot of people. I'm taking it a step further. Afilu b'hastara shebeteicha hastara vaday sham davka nimsa Hashem Yisbarach. Daika sham is Hashem nimsa, because thus haste hastara is the makom where we're in our Haganuz land. Our Haganuz land is makom hastara. Now b'derech remez, I'm sure that, assuming these are Rav Nachman's words themselves, he's been around Mr. Our Haganuz, because kiyadua liyoydei chen, the word vaday, you say on Yom Kippur, havadai shemoi chen tilasai, vaday zakdai rizal is shem eke, B'gematria 21. Gam is B'gematria Hashem Tov. Okay, 17 and 26, 43 is Gam. Vaday Gam is eke, havaya, Tov. Now, what is Tov? Tov is our Haganuz, right? Vayara lekim es ha'ar ki Tov, right? The R is ki Tov. So whenever you have the word Tov in Torah, ultimate Tov is like ein Tov el HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But when you talk about Tov in b'makim Hester, right? You're talking about our Haganuz HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'teicha Hester. So Mela, you have. I just saw brought down that the Shem HaTov is merumas in the very beginning of Sefer Bereshis. Bereshis bar lekim es hashemayim v'es haaretz. The Tachlis of Bri is a Welt of Hester. Why did Hashem create a world? He could have been happy with Malachim. Malachim, they make the best avodim, right? What did he need? What did he need a world of people like us that could barely tie our left shoe first in the morning, and we think we're Yaiter Avodas Hashem for the day, right? The teretz is HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants a Welt of Hester. So Bereshis bar lekim es hashemayim v'es haaretz means HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mirtzayin made a world of Hester. Es hashemayim v'es haaretz is Rashi Tevis Aleph K Vav K, which is B'gematria Tov, which is known as the Shem HaTov, and this Aleph K Vav K is Miramis to the Ar Haganuz that's B'teich the Bria. And it's brought down for a pidyon nefesh. They would have one of the kavanas of the Yichudim of pidyon nefesh was to take the Shem Eke, connect it to Eke, down to Havaya, and this is the way you turn over the ganze Welt. You've just connected the world to all the kedusha and the Hester is nisbatel, and this would be after a remez Again, I didn't see it inside. I'm assuming it's meduik the words vaday gam sham nimsa Hashem Yisbarach. It's what I'm saying. It's not gam sham. Rav Nachman knows better than it's gam sham. It's dafka sham. If it wasn't dafka sham, why in the world would Hashem put you in a makam hester? Hakadosh Baruch Hu is kula taiv, right? Hashem puts you in hester because that's the only place you're going to have the taiv that you need to find. Because our Haganuz is daikid Haganuz sham. And you know why it's so protected over there from the tzaddikim? Because when the Rishon get to Makam Hester, they're off the derech. Only the tzaddikim, when they're Makam Hester, have the hechatimsa to find the emunah and connect HaKadosh Baruch Hu over there. So when HaKadosh Baruch Hu is looking for a place to be gainas, this or dafka for tzaddikim, he's going to hide in the place where no Russia will ever discover it. Because the moment the going gets tough, the Rishon get going to the beaches and to the bars and every place else, because they have to relax. So Mela, this is the remez, the Ar Haganuz from the very beginning of Ma'aseh Bereishis. Whenever Klal Yisrael is heading into a matzav of Hester, there is always the hachana before this matzav of Hester, this matzav of Golus. Golus is a Hester. Mitzrayim is a Golus of Hester. Bavel is a Golus of Hester. Yavon is a Golus of Hester. Whenever Klal Yisrael is being taken into a matzav of Hester, there's always going to be the preparation of that Golus to be Gainas and Ar Haganuz over there. And the Ar Haganuz that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Gainas in each of these matzavim is typically a tzaddik, because it's Gonzel tzaddikim l'asalav. The tzaddik is always going to be the one who is the Baal Ha'ar Haganuz, or the Merkaval Ar Haganuz. Ar Haganuz is there to be, it's for everyone to connect to, but ultimately there is the tzaddik who is we'll call the kli that's machzik the Ar Haganuz in the Galus. And the tzaddik that's a shame of the person that is the machzik of the Ar Haganuz. He's called the tzaddikim l'asalav. Well, who are the most well-known tzaddikim in the history of Klal Yisrael? Who's given the label tzaddik? Yosef HaTzaddik, Mordechai HaTzaddik, and Shimon HaTzaddik. Right? These are the three people that are synonymous with the name HaTzaddik. Maybe you find Binyamin HaTzaddik, Binyamin and Yosef are actually connected. But it's Yosef HaTzaddik, Mordechai HaTzaddik, and Shimon HaTzaddik. What does that mean? Yosef HaTzaddik is being sent down to Mitzrayim as the tzaddik who is machzik Ar Haganuz. And this is Merumaz Yosef ben Shvas Reishana. What's this Indian of Shvas Reishana of Yosef? The Shvas Reishana is Begamatria Toiv. The Yosef is the Imrul Tzaddik Ki Toiv, which means that Tzaddik is the Keli to be Machzed Ar Haganuz B'tech the Gals. Yet Yosef is in Mitzrayim. Yet now there's an Ar Haganuz over here. This is the precursor to Klal Yisrael's Yerida to Mitzrayim. Not only that, the Ar Haganuz of these tzaddikim ultimately end up being the entire kiyum behester of the makam of the galus. Yosef is who Amashbi is running the entire Mitzrayim, right? Literally, the entire Mitzrayim owes its kiyum to Mitzrayim, even after Yosef was off the scene. At the end of the day, anyone who knew anything knows its entire Mitzrayim is only standing on Yosef's shoulders. Mordechai Tzaddik ends up being the one behind the scenes in Bavel. And when it comes to Yavon owes its entire existence to one person, Shimon HaTzaddik. The Gemara Yuma tells us that Alexander the Great, who was the founder of Yavon, Alexander the Great, he was the one that Shimon HaTzaddik saw this person directing him in battle. And when he saw Shimon HaTzaddik in front of him, he knew he was going to be Matzich in battle. The koyach of Shimon HaTzaddik in the door was the one that gave koyach to the whole the foundation of Yavon. I saw, thank you, Shai, for the Rav Moshe Shapiro Sefer over here. He has a nice drasha on Shimon HaTzaddik and Yavon. And I actually got this idea from that drasha. But the Shimon HaTzaddik, that's Shimon HaTzaddik. Shimon HaTzaddik is the founder of Yavon. Shimon HaTzaddik is the founder of Yavon. He's being Zayreya, the Ar Haganuz in Yavon while he gives us its kiyum. And ultimately, his Einiklach, the Chashmonaim, were able to tap into that Ar Haganuz in order to be Mahapach the Gezerah, to bring out Takad Ar Torah Ar Haganuz. What is the avoid of bringing out the Haganuz? I'm going to suggest that bringing out the Haganuz is not with a guitar. Bringing out the Haganuz is facing the Hester for what it is, and be willing to be totally Ma'aseh Nefesh, mitaych this Hester. And this is ultimately what makes Yosef great, and this is ultimately what made the Chashmonaim great. Yosef faces his biggest nisayon in this week's parasha with Eishes Paitifar. Eishes Paitifar was obviously nisayon that we can't fully comprehend how great the nisayon was, but we do know from what Chazal tell us that if the mice with Eishes Paitifar is the ultimate Mesiras Nefesh, that every person that was nichshal, Yosef is a prime example. If he could do that, you could be Ayman in your nisayonis. We know that Yosef's being Ayman in nisayon ultimately resulted in the greatest nace in Klal Yisrael's history. Hayam ra vayonis ma ra vayonis ra roinish Yosef. Again, the Yosef had the ability to take the greatest Hester and bring the art into it. Ayidei's Mesiras Nefesh, and with that, the nace of Kriyas Yamsuf was brought about. The Chashmonaim, if you want to know what their avodah was, so anyone that says the L'Shem Yichud of the Bnei Yissaschar knows what the Nekuda was. Asher heru la'mavis nafsham l'man kvod shimcha hagadol. They didn't face this battle with the Yevonim with any imagination that we have a plan. We're going to do guerrilla warfare. We're going to do all sorts of interesting battle tactics. There's one thing. There's in Gans and Hester. It's Hastar shebesoicha Hastar. But they understood besoicha Hastar over there. Vaday gam sham nimsa Hashem yisbarach. And their heru lamavis nafsham. They just went all out. 12 Chashmonaim, 13 Chashmonaim connected an entire Greek army. They obviously brought in people afterwards, but the original band were people asher heru lamavis nafsham, and they connected with this Mesiras Nefesh to pnimis mitaych the Hester, because when it means asher heru lamavis nafsham, that means the situation was insurmountable, right? The situation was beyond bleak, right? They went in, right, putting their lives on the line, recognizing that there's nothing. They weren't Soymech. This was a situation. They had no choice, right? There was a question of Kvod Shema Gadol being Nischalo. There was no choice. And this Mesiras Nefesh that they put into their avoid at this point is what brought about this tremendous nace of the Nitzachon, and ultimately the nace where they actually were able to see the Ar Haganuz in the menorah. Recognizing that what they brought about was Ar Haganuz in the menorah, so obviously this answers the Beis Yosef's kasha. Why do we light menorah for 8 days when the Shemen Hanisi was only 7 days? But the answer was that they saw on the very first day that there was Zeichet to Ar Haganuz. They saw from the very beginning that the Ar Haganuz was what was shining on top of the menorah. Chanukah isn't celebrating the fact per se that the nace that the Shemen lasted 7 extra days. Chanukah is celebrating that Yidden can be Ma'aseh Nefesh l'man kvod Shema Hagadol and bring out the Ar Haganuz that's there, recognizing that the Hester, this is just a hechet timsa to bring out the Ar Haganuz, and this Ar Haganuz is something that the Chashmonaim lit to this day, that all shaykhs we have to Torah Shabbat Peh, which expanded itself and started growing with the Tanoim and the Gemara that follows, and all the Sisrei Torah that came out from this Ar Haganuz that the Chashmonaim unleashed. This is what the Sforim HaKadoshim tell us, that the Mesiras Nefesh brought out such a siyata d'shmaya, such a kedusha in Klal Yisrael, that this lights up the chayshach for us in this galus. The Mesiras Nefesh seems to be a very hard thing. No one wants to be Ma'aseh Nefesh. In today's day and age, someone that's Ma'aseh Nefesh is looked at as a nebuch, right? You're successful when you're not Ma'aseh Nefesh. You're successful when you can afford to sit and learn all day, and drive a nice car, have a nice house, and have 6-foot hallways running through your second and third floors. That's success. If you're living in a small house, you're a little disheveled, your kids are not wearing horses on their shirts, you haven't made it. You're living with Mesiras Nefesh. Mesiras Nefesh is not very in. But ultimately, Mesiras Nefesh is what's necessary to bring out any bracha in this world. There's a klal gadol in the Olam Haruchni. If a person wants bracha, you have to be Meiser Nefesh. There's no such thing as anyone ever getting bracha in this world unless he's Meiser Nefesh from it, unless the bracha is from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I can't say there's no such thing, but I bring a raya from Avodah, the Avodah Hashem that we have every day. Every day we're over HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Avodah HaTfilah, trying to be mamshech bracha to this world. And if you look at the kavanas of Tfilah, every step of the way where a person is trying to be mashpia, some sort of shefa down to this world of bracha, the kavanas are always to be Meiser Nefesh. The well-known kavanas to be Mesiras Nefesh is obviously in Shema. When you say Echad, the dal of Echad, the person is supposed to be mechaven, dal misas bezin, Kisleiv harag b'chenek. We all know V'hasat Shem lekachem chol nafshecha, fil noitis nafshecha. A person is supposed to be mechaven, that he's willing to be Meiser Nefesh. But ultimately, in order to bring down any bracha in this world, there's only one way to get it, and that's by Mesiras Nefesh. Why is it this way? B'derech pshat is pashat. I don't know what maybe this say in a more Kabbalistic way. B'derech pshat, as we know, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a tachas hatoiv. He only wants to be meitiv. If there's a chasar in hatava, it's only mitzad mikabel, which is us. What's this chasar mitzad mikabel? Well, the main reason the chasar mitzad mikabel is in order to have bracha, you need a kli to be mikabel the bracha. So we all have kelim to be mikabel bracha. However, what do we fill our kelim with? With all our ritzainis. Our kelim are just full. I want this. I want this. So you look at this kli of the person, and you want to know what you are. It's what your ritzainis are. And your ritzainis are everything in this world, besides. Well, maybe also, but everything. You have a car. I want 2 cars. I have a house. I want 2 houses. I have 3 pairs of shoes. I want 6 pairs of shoes. Right? I want covet. I want this. Right? You have so many things you want. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sitting there, Kavi Yachol, with this big bucket of bracha, trying to pour it down his keli. And if he pours it, where's it going to go? It's going to go all over the place. It's not going to go in the keli. There's no room in the keli. What's Mesiras Nefesh? Mesiras Nefesh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you a knock on the door. What's a knock on the door? It could be many knocks on the door. But it wrenches your gut out of you. And all of a sudden, you realize, I don't need a new car. I don't need the 90-foot screen on my 200-foot wall, right? I don't need the vacation. And all of a sudden, this room in this keli, right? A person gives up part of his nefesh. Mesiras Nefesh means a person says, I don't need this, and he's meiser his nefesh. He takes out part of his ritzanis. Nefesh is lashon of ratzon. He removes some ritzanis from this keli that's stuffed up with all his egg and ritzanis, and all of a sudden, this room in this keli for bracha. The Kabbalistically, when a person is Meiser Nefesh, being Meiser Nefesh is a person's elevator up to where the bracha is, in order to start opening up the doors of bracha. That's ultimately what Mesiras Nefesh is. Mesiras Nefesh is a person's way. This is how you press top floor in your Shemoneh Esrei. A person is daven Shemoneh Esrei with a sense of Mesiras Nefesh to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a sense of his battles to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a willingness to give everything up. This takes him step by step, because every madrega Mesiras Nefesh, which ultimately is merumas in the Arba Mises Bezdin, Skilas Feif Harag Bechenik, which is connected to Arboi Lamais of Atzilas Bir Yitzir and Asiya. Every Mesiras Nefesh takes you up in Olam, all until you get to the highest Olam, where there you're standing mamash from HaKadosh Baruch Hu with a full keli, ready to be mekabel the bracha. Just a story of Mesiras Nefesh to bring out the point, because Mesiras Nefesh is elusive as the Haganuz. What gives a person an ability to be Meiser Nefesh? So I'd like to maybe end with a story, a very famous story, but in as much as this is Chassidus 101, I think it's appropriate for tonight, and very, very much appropriate for this week's parasha. The Chayz Lublin was on his way to visit his Rabbi, the Rabbi Elimelech. And on the way, back in the day, the Chayz Lublin did not have a Cadillac. He did not have a RAV4. He did not even have a Honda Civic. He went with his own 2 feet. And I'm not sure where he was going from. I don't think he lived in Lublin at the time. But wherever he was going from, it was a long trip, and it was the dead of winter. And he got to a point during his trip that he was kimat frozen to death and not knowing what he's going to do. He sees in the distance a house. He sees a mezuzah on the door. He gives a knock. A woman opens the door, invites him in. She sees he's half blue from frozen death. She puts him next to the fire. She gives him blankets, and she gives him to eat. And Mavish Tchias HaMesim. At this point, this woman is Tavea, him L'dvar Aveira. Chas v'shalom, Eishes Ish. No, I'm not married. Anida. I'm not Anida. I was Tavel Gven. He's like, here he owes his life to this woman, and she's just painted a picture, right, of the Isra. I'm not saying, I'm not sure whether the Isra Yichud, the front door must have been open, right? But she painted a picture of a Gewaldik in Nisayan. Zach the Chayz Lublin. He says, I know one thing. I'm in this world to get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Having anything to do with you is not getting me closer to my goals, right? I'm out of here. And he ran out of the door. He turned back after he got down the block, and the house was Nelam. That's the way the story goes. He gets to the Rebbe Elimelech. A day later, a week later, a month later, whatever it is, the Rebbe stands up for him, and he says, Shalom Aleichem Yosef HaTzadik. That's the story of the Chayz Lublin, very well known in all Chasidus 101 classes it's taught, especially Parashat Vayeshev. The lesson of the story is the way the Ramchal shtels avek zehirus. The ultimate zehirus, which gives you the ability to be Maisa Nefesh, is Bakashas Hashlemus. If a person is always making cheshbonis, what's in it for me, what am I going to get out of it? Then there's always cheshbonis. Hakaras HaToiv versus maybe it's Israseh, Leisaseh, the Raisa Drabonon, who knows? When a person is eyes on the ball, he knows one thing. I'm looking for the Rebbeinu Shalom. Everything I do is only to get me one step closer to the Rebbeinu Shalom. And the greater the Hester, the greater my focus is to find the Kadosh Baruch Hu mitaych the Hester. A person with that outlook on life has the ability to be Maisa Nefesh and to be Oymen on Nisyaynis. Ultimately, the Or Haganuz, the keeper of the Or Haganuz, is Tzadikim Hivdila Vayavdel Elikim, the Or Haganuz, Tzadikim Lasalavai. We all know the Va'amech Kulam Tzadikim. Ultimately, we are all labeled that's tzaddik. We all have the ability to look b'teich the Hester, and every Hester that we face to recognize that Sham Daika is Nimsa Hashem Yisbarach, and when you uncover b'teich the Hester Shebehester Kadosh Baruch Hu, thus is the Or Haganuz, and with this, for Taka B'Zeicha to Taka see the Or Haganuz in the Iris of Chanukah, and B'Taka see the Or Haganuz. Be as good as Tzedek Meher V'Yameinu. Shkoyach.